The Call Me Successful podcast, Connect series brought to you by Sell by Legal.
So ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very special guest with us today. We've got Peter Diamantidis from Ray White Diamantidis Group in Western Sydney. Now, not only is he the number one principal internationally for the number of sales, he's also the number two principal for gross commission, and he's got a list of other awards that he won last night. Welcome to the podcast, Pete.
Thank you, Avi, for having me.
Thanks for being here. So what other awards did we win? We were number two for the group for number of sales.
Yep. So number two as an office, as a group for our transactions. We had our BDM, been with us for less than 12 months. She came second. But yeah, like you mentioned, came first for number of sales and two for dollar value.
Amazing. What a night for you and your team.
It was great.
Now, I wanted to address this because a lot of people have this on their mind at the moment. We were at the biggest conference in Australia, Ray White Connect conference.
Yep.
4,000 people here this weekend and over the next day or so. Dan White opened up and he said something very pertinent. He said, we have to be proud of every single transaction. Now, in recent times, as a brand, there's some things that have gone on that we haven't been proud of. And it was time for leadership to step up, and it did. And certain changes need to be made, and we're not afraid of getting rid of people. What are your thoughts on that, Peter?
Well, it is. It is not just about the transaction. It's about customer service and being trusted. Ray White is a trusted brand. Now, as we know in recent times, and very close on where we are is, we had an operator which wasn't trusted. And, the good thing, what the family have done, the White family has done is we've removed, under people that are not being trusted in the brand, and then allowing other groups to grow into those areas as well that are trusted. We've United, who we are, we've got a very, very good reputation in Western Sydney and now in the Hills. And, we support the morals and everything that Ray White stand for.
So let's just address the elephant in the room, right?
Yep.
Like you would have got this question this whole last 3 days, and certainly people are asking about it with me as well. I'm like, are you Ray White United opening in Quakers Hill?
On record? No, not at the moment.
Off the record?
Off the record, we cover that area. So we are one of the closest areas. So eventually, yes, we will open in Quakers Hill because we have the team that want that area. We'll support the team, and our team want Quakers Hill. We'll take Quakers Hill. So
what's happening there at the moment? Because I've noticed that you're listing and selling a lot. How's that happened?
Well, we've got people that have come into our business, over the last, 6 months or 12 months that have come from competing businesses, one that was in Quakers Hill. And these are the areas that they cover. So it's not that we're doing it deliberately going that, there's no Ray White there now, let's just keep hitting those doors. Is we're getting traction because people are wanting to list with the brand. The brand is Ray White and the brand is Ray White United Group. So they're preferring to list with us rather than now an independent office. And we're taking advantage of that, Avi.
So I want to address this United concept, the United Group concept, right? And let's take us to the start though before we get there.
Yes.
Like, how have you done this? Because there's so many different ways to approach this, but you started off as a Rain and Horn agent.
Rain and Horn, yeah.
This is what 6 years ago?
So Rain and Horn, I started at the age of 15, Avi. So 15, I was just a salesperson. For 18 years, I was there until 2021, and we opened up Ray White Samaras. That's what it was called at the
That's your first Ray White business.
Yeah. Yep. So we opened up Ray White Samaras. At the time, we had Tim Snell, who supported me all the way. We call him Caesar because he makes the great decisions. But I was getting bored, Avi. So I thought to myself, this is great. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than what it was because I didn't know much about trust accounting or whatever. And then I said, let's get into St. Clair. So we approached an office over there. It was called Australian Real Estate. And
so this is within 12 months?
Within 12 months, yeah. So just think of April 21 opened the first, April 22 opened the second. So we then took over that area. We had no market share, and 2 years old, probably a year and a half on, we had around 35% market share in that area. So then from there, to fast forward, we then opened up, we had Ruddy Hill, we had Mount Druitt, we had Marsden Park. We did open up with Shiv Nair. So Shiv was in the hills. So it's put our foot in the hills. So Shiv is a business owner in the Hills office. And now we're about to announce.
So this is the breaking news that we were talking
about. Oh, yes. I shouldn't say it. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So you're about to announce this as a drum roll coming?
There's drum roll coming. So we've got an office. It's already happening. It will be franchised by the end of this month. I won't say the exact location, but it's in the Blacktown LGA. And we've got key agents that are in that area. And it's going to be announced very shortly.
So this rapid growth, this really interests me because one of the things I've noticed is that there's a thing called Pete's Academy, right?
Yep.
So your growth seems to be two phases. Like you're getting all these people that want to join you, but you're also developing all these key agents. Like there's one guy that used to be a hairdresser or something like that.
Yes.
How's that? Like what are you doing with them when they start off with you, Pete?
So if I rewind back to Avi, like back to 2021 when Brian White came and saw me. So it's the first time I met Brian. And we talked about leadership and things like that. And I actually, my mind just switched. It was about Peter Diamantidis. And I switched and said to myself, I need to grow a team. I'm in Western Sydney. My average price is $680,000. How am I going to compete with the big boys? So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring young people in. They're going to sponge off me. I've got a good reputation in the area and I'm going to get them to become agents. So what they did was they'd come into my academy, let's say 5 agents. They would list, they would sell, but I would make sure that, an REA, domain, everything, they're the main agent. I'm the second agent. So I didn't take the credit from them away. So they grew their, their reputation in the area a lot quicker than just sitting behind a standalone agent and, waiting for years. So just imagine doing that 10 times over. So what I did was had people growing into different areas, then they were a standalone agent, then they had an associate, then they had a team, and then that associate then will become an agent. And it was just like a dominoes effect. And we've done that now for only 4 years in the group.
So how many agents are you up to now?
So if you look at standalone agents, I think we're just over 20 at the moment.
Over 20.
Yes.
And you're dominating what? 20 markets now? 20, 25?
Yeah, like if you worked on suburbs, I reckon you're probably just over 30.
So what does it look like when this new person joins Pete's Academy?
Yes.
Like, what do you get them to do day one?
Yep.
Like,
so I basically say it in a nice way. Just think of an associate wearing nappies. So they're a baby. They haven't crawled yet. They're learning. So they might be just doing your pointer signs, your buyer work. But we're chucking them in the deep end straight away with us. So we believe in our training. You can sit in a room and just talk for hours, or you're going to be on the playing field. And we're on the playing field, and I want them to be basically butted up with me to know on the way that I operate. And that's how we want all of our agents to operate. What we are finding, and you'll see in businesses, Avi, is you'll get people which there might be $1 million rider, but they've got a different concept and then they bring it into the team. And sometimes it may not be culturally fitted. So with these people coming in, it could be just doing your buyer management, your pest and buildings. They'll come into listing presentations with me. And the goal is within 6 months to 8 months, they should be doing price updates.
Yeah, right. So you leave them alone to go talk to the clients. Because at the moment, like what we find is that, throughout the industry, associates, all of them are in such a hurry to become successful, but they're not doing the hard yards to get there.
Yeah.
You've managed to figure that out and how to make that happen for them.
Yeah, correct. But what we also do is, we've got Pete's Academy. We've even got now where you've got, if you're an agent and let's say, Avi, you're the associate working under, let's say Mark in my team, is we're trying to get you to get to that next stage. So Mark wants you to be successful because rather than, as I said, get people in externally agents to come in, we're growing talent from the bottom all the way up. And the good one is if it's the hairdresser or if it's the other people in my team, like Harry, I know you know Harry, he's now going to be a main agent in January. Omi to be main agent. So I've got 6 guys going to be main agents by January.
So these new agents coming in, because this academy, it's you've sort of built it for them as well. So all these agents coming into your team, now all of a sudden they've got 3, 4 associates. They've got associates here. They've never had that before.
No, correct.
So you're applying the same methodology to their teams as well.
Yep, correct. And we've got now a program that we're going to be rolling out, hopefully again from the 1st of Jan, that we're hiring somebody that will be running with those associates. So they're going to be like a pool of associates where one person's going out, from becoming an agent to be an agent, sorry. So an associate will then go into their team. So we're running this. So then it's like having, how can I say, like a whole pod of associates, which are learnt and grown from the United Group way, and then they can go into teams. So, when you lose somebody, you don't feel like, oh crap, I've lost my associate, I'm going to go backwards. It just springboards them further up.
So the United Group, let's get back to the name United. So Ray White, Peter Diamantidis Group, right?
Yep.
That's what you've known.
Yep.
All of a sudden, it's like we're bidding that. It's not going to work.
Yep.
We're going to look for another name. What led you to that?
I think it was around a year before, Avi, where I was just, when the phones always ring and it's like Ray White Diamantidis Group, and I kept hearing my name and I kept saying to myself, it's not about Peter. I've had enough of it being about Peter. Peter's on the spotlight. Peter's winning number one. I don't want to win number one, Avi.
Call me Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur. I'm going to call you Arthur.
Yeah.
I don't want to win number one. I just want the team. I want the team to be on there. That's the best moment I get. So I follow Manchester United. I love Manchester United. I know they've had it. Yeah, don't worry. But, they'll come good. But I just wanted something that meant together. And that's what I've always said is the culture is so critical that we need to have the strong base, which means that we're united. We don't, fight against each other. We don't no bickering, any of that. And that's where the United name came from.
Well, it's something I've noticed in your group. It's like the culture is amazing. Seems to be like everyone's looking out for each other. Everyone's trying to help each other. And that's why you sort of like everyone who's not happy elsewhere just gives you a call randomly.
Yeah.
That's what you built organically.
Correct. Yeah, like we don't really have, like when you have conflict with neighbours and, different agencies and things like that. Like I get along with everybody, even the group or even independents. And the thing is you want to be respectful, and what we teach with our guys coming through is, you'll make good money. But we can see in recent times, you look on the news, you look at the front page of the paper even, and you'll see people that, got successful very, very fast. And it's the ego gets to their head. I keep saying you got to walk straight through the front door, straight. Don't walk sideways with a big head. You know what I mean? And some of these guys coming through 22, 23, I'm actually forcing them to buy properties, Avi. I want them to have, debts against their name. You know why? Because I want them to grow their assets, so when they're 30 or 40 or 50, they can sit there and I've got 10 or 15 properties, and that's what we're all about.
So David Walker said something last night. He did pretty well at the awards. He said, it's not about the awards, it's how we win them. Like you pretty much saying the same thing.
Yes. Oh, 100%. You got to, be trusted. You want to be, you can't be just on stage and go, hey, all right, $10 million. But $10 million, which have done, a bit chonky, you know what I mean? It could be incentive kickers or it could be things like that. Avi, like I'm just, you got to do things the right way. You know what I mean? You don't want to be, I call it turn and burn.
Yeah.
We don't do turn and burn, and the reason why we don't do this is I've said to our team is, even with the transaction, the buyer's bought it, you're exchanging, going, yeah, money's in the bank, guys. Hey, a buyer today is a seller tomorrow. You want to be door knocking for the rest of your life? Or do you want to actually respect the clients, be in contact with them? Do they need a removalist? Do they need this? Help them out.
So I'm going to move away from the United thing and talk about you for a second.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do this? Like, you're running all these businesses, right? And obviously you've got your personal developments, investments and everything. You've got 7 offices, 7 sites, 6 sites?
Well, six on the map at the moment.
On the map at the moment. 6 sites on the map at the moment. And you're out there selling nearly 300 homes?
Well, I think I sold I think it was 360 properties in 365 days.
Right. Okay. So you took 5 days off doing that.
Yeah, but if you take out, I said to my wife, Mary, I said to her, but if you look at the public holidays and things like that, where I legally couldn't operate, Anzac Day and stuff like that, I said, I've done more than one a day.
And then you take your holidays. You got 6 weeks off that you strike off in your calendar.
Yes.
Where the hell do you find the time?
So you've got to learn, well, firstly, if you want to work with is I've got 4 children at home, Avi. I think you know this. So, my wife, Mary, looks after that, but she also looks after with the business. So that's my backbone. So if you've got that sorted at home, next stage is, what time do you get up in the morning? I get up very early. I train in the morning. I get my mind, ready. So I'm getting rid of a lot of, like if it's emails, the little crappy stuff early in the morning. Because, from 8:30 or 8 o'clock, your phone's ringing 24/7. If you look up my profile on REA, I still take my own inquiries. I don't have a burner phone or anything else that I pass the inquiries on. I'm taking still the inquiries. So, you just structure yourself so well through the day, and you just make sure that you focus on that. I don't go to long lunches. I don't have, take off to go to the pub on Friday at 3 o'clock or anything like that. It's pretty good. The whole day's solid.
So, and then your other agents still get access to you.
100%, because, dead spots, am I driving home for 45 minutes listening to Taylor Swift, or am I making phone calls to my agents? You know what I mean? You've got to, be sensible with these things. So non-negotiables and things that are negotiable.
So where do you take it now? So you've got 20 agents, 6 offices. Like what's the next goal? Like what's the next iteration for the United Group?
Well, this is the thing, Avi. Everyone says this to me is, where do you want it to go? Where do you want it to stop? And if I go back 4 years ago, being, the kid from, Tregear, Mount Druitt, and having no idea how to run a business, I don't know. I'm following the path and whatever comes with me, believe in God. God's looking down on us, and I feel that we just got to, just whatever comes, wherever we go. Like we want to be good. I always say, and this, my big motto is dominate, not participate. Like if we're going to go into anything, if you're going into a car racing, or if you're going to play a soccer game, or if you're going to, be the best real estate agent, you want to be the best. And I've always said that. So I think where we are going to move to is that Western Sydney, the Hills area is going to go well. And let's just see what the future holds, I guess.
It seems to me that the next stage of growth, from my perspective, looking at your group, is driven by where the senior agents want to go, like where they want to open, where they want to create a pathway for themselves. It seems to me that you're following that journey with them now.
Yeah, correct. So I'll be just bring an example, like Mark Haddad, who came on board. And when he came on board, we had 0 market share in Blacktown. But he said, Peter, I want to get this up. He lost all his stats when he came on board. So you got to remember, he started from 0. He wasn't allowed to take data or anything like that. And now we're at like number 4 in that area. So we've pushed that way, and then we're pushing this way, and then we're pushing that way. So if they've got a dream, we'll follow their dream. They've got the ambition, we'll follow their ambition. Jaden, another guy that's come on board, he said, Peter, I want to hit Toongabbie. I want to hit out towards, Westmead and areas like that. So we'll follow that dream. We did it with Rudy Hill. We did it with St. Clair, Luke in Marsden Park, So we believe in the agents, and we'll support their agents, support the agents for their ambition.
Now, I want to talk to you about property management, because it's a passion of both of ours.
Yes.
What are you up to now?
I think we're just sitting just above 3,000 properties.
So how have you done that? Because you've it's mostly organic though.
Yes.
Like day one,
Yep.
you open up St. Mary's.
So we open up
Yeah.
So we open up some areas. I did buy an office which had 200 managements. Our 200 managements, we're paying 162 properties. We're paying cash during COVID, which was great. 0 fixed term tenancies, over 40% arrears. So I was doing really well.
Great. Great.
I was doing really well, and it chucked me in the deep end. But, we grew from there. So yes, we're in an area where you do get a lot of investors, but there's a lot of owner occupiers. But I always said to my property managers, I only had a BDM. My first BDM came on August 24. Just think of that. I had no BDM before that. So
who was signing?
So I did deals with the property managers that, of course, they get incentivized to convert, put it into their pod, and we did it that way. But we started to realize that there was so many leads coming in 24/7, and we needed the manpower. So that's when we put the BDMs on. So I think we signed up just over 900 and something, I think, last fin year, and we organically netted, I think, just under 700. So yeah, it's like we've just grown, over the time. But I think it's, yes, you're selling the properties, but each investor would have maybe a second property that you'd pick up from somewhere. So if you do the right thing with them, they'll bring in more managements.
One of the things I've noticed is people take their sales agents away for dinners and their study tours. Like Ray White has all these events, but you're doing that with your property management team. What led you to that?
So if you look at it, going back to when I was in property management, or, when I was in that, before I got into sales, they don't get recognized, Harvey. You know that. What do they get recognized? They go out to a little dinner, in the city, crack a bottle of champagne. I thought to myself, you know what? They're the backbone. If you look at this, if you've got a good property management business, they always say if you can get 10% of sales out of your property management and feed your sales department, you're doing really well in a year. So I said to myself, I wanted to come up with ideas. And it was 2023, I think it was, 2024. No, 23. And I said, I want to do maybe an overseas trip. I said this to my wife, Mary. I said, this it's going to be logistically, I've never done anything like this. So we did Queenstown. But I said to him, listen, if we hit 500 managements, if we do, I think it was 90% fixed term tenancies, and we got certain reviews and things like that, we'll all go overseas. So what happened? I had to come first in the state awards. So in one of the categories. So
Right.
they came first. So we booked Queenstown, took them away, did bungee
How many
jumping.
of them? How many?
So there was at the time, I think it was around 20 plus partners.
You took about 35 people. To
35,
Queenstown.
correct.
That's amazing.
Yep. And then now this year, we're going back to, a place that you know very well, Fiji. So we're going to go back there and we're going to enjoy it there at the Sofitel. And this time it's going to be more people. There's nearly 40 of us, but why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
So I want to know this. Like, what does Peter do outside of real estate? What do you do when you get a chance to relax?
What do I do?
Are you an ambassador for Hermes and Lamborghini, or is it just
no,
Mary?
No.
No.
I've got Hermes soon. If they'll probably make underwear for me. That's the only thing I'm not wearing Hermes these days. But no, that's my wife, not me. I do like the finer things in life, but I just go as it is. But Lamborghini, I love. I do like racing. I think we discussed it. I haven't been on the track for probably around a year and a half. I just think that my mind hasn't been mentally there. I've just really checked out a little bit with the cars. But having the children, trying to, spend time with them, especially Sundays or one day during the week, and take them out and things like that, seem probably important. But really, that's it. I follow soccer, Manchester United. Any game that they're playing, I'd like to watch, on TV and things. So
We're quickly losing viewers now because you mentioned
Manchester United,
Yeah.
But do watch this year; they're going to win.
Yeah,
Yep.
great
Yep.
story. Connect,
Yes.
biggest conference in Australia.
Yes.
4,000 people here.
Yes.
Some of the best speakers, some of the best leaders. One takeaway, anything you grabbed out of it that really resonated with you?
You know what it is, and it's not about the speakers, Avi. It was, to me, I love these events is because we're all together as one, and you're seeing people, if it's from Melbourne and here and that, and you're sharing so many ideas with a group. Like if you work at it, like not picking on independent offices or anything, but who do you rely on in an independent office? We're Ray White. We're the biggest. We have the best resources. Look what the White family put on. So for me, my big takeaway is actually meeting so many different people, spending 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, getting ideas, and then implementing these ideas back into my own business.
My final question for you, what does success look like for you?
Success looks like, to me, there's two. Can I answer it too?
Yeah, please.
So
Let's go for it.
personally, I look at it as being financially free and having, my children, go through things that I never had to go through as a child. So to me, that's success. And for a business, getting all those team members that have got those ambitions to hit a certain goal, to get them past that goal.
That's amazing. Well, Peter, congrats on all your success and everything you and your team are achieving out there. You're doing it with style and grace as well. And look forward to seeing the next part of the journey for the
Thank you,
United
Avi,
Group.
for having me here. All right, Avi, I fucked something up.
Okay, here we go.
Property management
Yeah.
actually also came #1 internationally.
Yeah, that was amazing. Sorry, I didn't even ask.
I know, that's the reason why we're going
Yeah.
to Fiji.
Amazing.
You know?
There you go.
Bulla.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
everyone in Pete's team, you're all going to Fiji. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.